find myself asking why. You know? Like, what is my reason for living?
I know I got a bad reputation, and it isn't just talk. If I could only give you everything, you know I haven't got. I couldn't have one conversation if it wasn't for the lies. And still I wanna tell you everything till I close my eyes. Suddenly I'm on the street, 7 years disappeared below my feet, been breaking down. Don't you think I've heard the talk? Nobody's gonna tell me who to love. Been breaking down. Do you want me now? Do you want me now? Suddenly I'm down.
There is an excuse, Your Honor. There is an explanation. It seems that my client had merely found these drugs, and he was on his way to the police department to turn them in at the time of his arrest. Now, we're not saying that my client is an angel. We admit openly that on 2 occasions he has smoked marijuana, and on 1 occasion taken LSD, of course under the clinical supervision of a doctor. Now, what we want you to do tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is to look inside your hearts, to examine your own consciences, and remember this: judge not, and ye shall not be judged. Now, as a true sign of repentance, I'd like to have my client step forward and say just a very few words in his own behalf at this time. Forget what I told you to say. Now, just
yeah.
about that one. The judge is over there. Quiet about it. Just chill. No, once.
Yeah.
I told you. What I think my client is trying to say at this time, Your Honor, is that he has transcended the drug experience. Yes.
Order in the court. Order.
But there was a version of us, so-called Homo sapiens. They were the golden race. It wasn't this sun that was here. It was another one. We are not in the place where we started from. I don't know if you knew that or not. So, this golden age, what is it? Well, it was an age when the deathless gods created the golden race of men. It was a time of prosperity and peace that allowed all living beings to live in harmony. This is an illusion. In fact, this is a really dirty illusion that we're in. We're in the Iron Age of humanity. And the Iron Age of humanity sucks. This peace that allowed all living beings to live in harmony, to be happy, and in love. It is said that in this age, animals could speak with human voice, and no one would grow old or get ill. Together, they lived in abundance of everything, and even when their time was over, the death came during sleep without any pain. This time was placed during the rulage of the Titans, where Cronus was a leader after dethroning his father Uranus. Uranus. Love that word. Tell me these gods don't have a sense of humor. But anyway, I digress. But instead of living in peace, Cronus, as we know, after hearing the prophecy of being overthrown by one of his children, went and ate 5 of his children when they were born. Yeah. You see, and from that kind of a story, you get this whole thing, drink this is my blood, eat this is my body. Yeah, okay, yeah. It really sucked, except for Zeus, who later came and set his brothers and sisters free. They then rebelled against their father, and it all escalated to a 10-year war called the Titanum Monarchy, which more or less ended the Golden Age in destruction. And so the story goes that Zeus created the last race of man called the Iron Race, where Hesiod put himself in. It is a time of constant stress and labor. Morality is gone, and men are constantly lying and seeding mistrust. It is a time where humans grow old quickly and are it's no longer common sense. I ain't got no sense to it at all. There is no morality. Those who lie accuse the other side of lying because they're the lying, and it's like, and you think about it, thank you, Obama, that we have now, the United States government is the single largest producer and distributor of propaganda. Lies. The United States government. Lies. They all lie. And you see, the insanity of it is that you and I sit here and they teach us that, well, it's a mortal sin. You have a real problem, son, with your integrity of character. You can't tell the truth. You lie. Well, they all lie. And once you're a liar, nothing that you're going to say is going to be trustworthy. So anyway, here we are. Iron. That sucks. The proverb says that which was shall yet be again. There's a difference between gods and demigods, right? So throughout mythology, gods and demigods have held significant places in shaping the narrative of human existence, the natural world and divine realms. While both groups possess supernatural powers, the distinction between gods and demigods lies primarily in their origin, scope of power, and relationship with humanity. Gods, as supreme beings, are fully divine and often represent cosmic force. I read it wrote in it said that newbies get slaughtered in times like this. They get frustrated how hard it is to find themselves and lost the ability to think for themselves. When that happens, they seek for help and confirmation. Most of them find refuge in the perfect words of a guy we'll call the new golden age God. Demagogues advocate action without deliberation, appealing directly to the emotions of the newbie, poor, and uninformed. He tells lies and stirs up hysteria, where your emotions are so strong that you behave in an uncontrollable way. He exploits crisis to intensify popular support for his cause. If you oppose his view, you'll be accused of disloyalty. And the common people fall into his trap. The demigod is a leader who tries to get support by making false claims and promises during the arguments based on emotion rather than reason. A demigod, or rabble-rouser, I love that term, rabble-rouser, is a political leader, and that is political leader in a democracy who gains popularity by arousing the common people against elites, especially through oratory that whips up the passions of crowds, appealing to emotion by scapegoating out groups, exaggerating dangers to stoke fears, lying of emotional effect, and other rhetoric that tends to drown out reasoned deliberation and encourage fanatical popularity. Demigods overturn established norms of political conduct or promise or threaten to do so. Folks, things are going on here, and I'm not saying it's evil. I can only look under the surface. It seems to be delivering good fruit. But there's no doubt Olympus is alive and the gods are active. The goddesses are active. They're doing impossible things. Science has not made any new leaps in the last, some say, couple hundred years. But that's changed. And the thing about demigods is that they're truly visionaries. They have this supernatural power. Maybe we've been lied to, deceived, and we just don't realize that we already have all this. I don't know, because we know something is for sure going on. Genesis, the 2nd chapter. So I came across this. It says, and who and what are the Elohim? Understanding the Elohim is the key to understanding that the Bible originally had a pantheon of 72 gods. These gods were El, the supreme God. Then you had Ashtaroth, his consort, the queen of heaven. The Elohim, the 70 sons and daughters.
Brother Thomas, you know what it says in the Bible about not forgiving people. Why don't you tell us all what it says, Brother Hezekiah? It's against it.